Namaskar, good morning. I'm always happy to come back to my state. This is where it all started. Jabalpur and now Gwalior. जब मैं सब लोगों की बातें सुन रहा था तो मैं ये सोच रहा था कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ होती है, उसको बोलते हैं कनेक्शंस. How do you connect to different people when you need to start increasing your business? And these connections are very critical for every entrepreneur. तो जैसे मैं आज सब लोगों की यहाँ बातें सुन रहा था, तब मुझे हर बात में एक कनेक्शन मिला. जैसे पंत साहब ने बोला कि भाई हर शहर का, हर गली का एक खाना होता है. तो मेरे जबलपुर का एक मंगोड़ी होती है, आई एम श्योर आप जानते हैं. पर वहाँ की जो मंगोड़ी होती है वो बहुत स्पेशल होती है. वो इसलिए स्पेशल होती है कि उसमें किसी का स्किन इंक्लूडेड होता है. वहाँ जो मंगोड़ी बनती है, जो एक बंदा बहुत स्पेशल है वो बनाता है, वो अपना हाथ तेल में डालता है और फिर मंगोड़ी निकाल के आपको खिलाता है. Now that is quite amazing. When I took my wife to see it, she said, I don't want to go anywhere close to this. So this is, the connections that I was finding. And then of course, he talked about momos. So about 10 years ago, as an investor, I invested in a company called Wow Momo. And Wow Momo started making probably 15, 20, 30 types of momos. And the first time I had a chocolate momo is when they introduced the company. So एक और कनेक्शन मिल गया मुझको. और उसके बाद तीसरा कनेक्शन इस तरह मिला कि जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स होते हैं, I always tell every entrepreneur, you have to have hunger in your belly. You don't have hunger in your belly, you cannot succeed. आप पेट भर के काम नहीं कर सकते. जब मैं ब्रूटा जी की बातें सुन रहा था और उनके बारे में पढ़ रहा था और मैं स्क्रीन पे देख रहा था, तो उनसे एक बहुत बढ़िया कनेक्शन मिला मुझे. वो ये कि जो मेरे को फाउंडर हैं शिव नाडर, उनकी वाइफ किरण नाडर, उनके म्यूज़ियम में आपकी पेंटिंग सेंटर पे लगी हुई है किसी एक शो में. तो मैंने देखा, मैंने कहा देखिए एक और कनेक्शन मिल गया. और इट जस्ट सो हैपन्स दैट किरण नाडर इज़ माई वाइफ्स सिस्टर. सो अनदर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कनेक्शन. उसके बाद एक और कनेक्शन मिला मुझे. वो ये कि जो मेरा मिडिल नेम है, मेरी फैमिली में सबका मिडिल नेम कृष्णा है और आपकी फर्स्ट पेंटिंग कृष्ण से शुरू हुई. तो देखिए कहाँ कहाँ से कनेक्शंस मिलते हैं. और जब मैं when I was listening to Barry, I was absolutely spellbound. Reason is that I have been an ardent theatre goer, and I always somehow manage to go to London, and my whole strategy to go to London is to watch theatre. And the kind of theatre you get there is quite amazing. But I've also been involved with my cousin, and I'm a patron of her living room theatre. She started that company about 50 years ago in Mumbai, and today is in Delhi and has plays all over all the time. And the most interesting thing that I found about her, Bruta ji, was that she has actually so deep into theatre. She lives, eats, drinks theatre, that she decided to make an amphitheatre on top of her house in Defence Colony on the 3rd floor. And all her practice sessions are held there. And I have also participated in one or two of her plays whereas I was asked to sing. So we recently did a play on Amin Sayani to remember him, and that's how, I sort of participated. So when they say that there is 6 degrees of separation, it is really true. Somehow or the other, I found a connect with everybody. And last night I was having dinner with Rameshwar ji, and I found another connect. वो कैसे मिला मुझे? मैंने बोला कि जो मेरी वाइफ की ग्रैंडमदर थी वो नैना देवी थी, तो बोलते मैं तो नैना देवी को जानता था। तो देखिए कहाँ कहाँ से कनेक्शंस मिलते हैं। तो मैंने सोचा कि सिर्फ मैं टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए सिर्फ बात ना करूं, सबसे पहले ये बताऊं कि एक एंटरप्रेन्योर को सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ चाहिए होती है कनेक्शन। सो लेट मी टॉक अबाउट व्हाट आई वांटेड टू टॉक अबाउट टुडे। What do I want to talk about today? What I want to talk about is that in this country, for very, very long, we have only worked creating a 5-year plan. And all we do is that we work election to election. 5 साल के plans बनते हैं हमारे। तो मोदी जी ने करीब 1 साल पहले कुछ बात शुरू करी कि भाई इंडिया को हमें डेवलप्ड नेशन बनाना है और एक लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान बनाया जाए। तो उन्होंने अपने लोगों को बोला कि वो प्लान बनाएं। उसके पहले a few of us got together and we created a little think tank, and we call ourselves the Vishwamitra Economic Policy Group. And all people who work with no greed, no glory thinking. We have no aspirations to achieve anything. We only want to work for the country. So we said, okay, how did America succeed? And when we went deep into the history of how America became such a powerful nation, we clearly discovered that it was due to science and technology. And 1944, after the World War, there was the chief scientist of America, and his name was called Vannevar Bush. And Vannevar Bush, in 1945, wrote a manifesto for America. And he presented that manifesto to President Roosevelt. And what did he say in that manifesto? He said that the future of America lies in embracing science and technology. So, as a result of acceptance of that manifesto, America created DARPA, the Research Organization of Defense. America created NASA. America created NSF, the National Science Foundation. And institutions like this that started to do deep research in science and technology and encouraged entrepreneurs and startups to make products, design products, and create technologies. So when you look at NASA or when you look at DARPA, the kind of technologies they have created are absolutely amazing, and they are part of our daily product usage that we have today. Can you do without GPS? Can you do without internet? Both of these were created by DARPA. So this is how the history of a great nation like the US is. How are they so far fast forward? So we said, okay, why don't we look at a 25-year science and technology plan for India? And we said, when we have a group of people, and inside are economists and scientists and business people and academicians and research people, and all of us said that, where are we today? And we said, India risks growing old before becoming rich. We need to escape the middle income trap. We are sitting at $2,700 per person GDP in this country, while countries like Thailand, China, Korea are far above us. Thailand was similar to us at one time, Korea was below us at some time, China was same as us. But why are we so far behind? One of the reasons we gave was that the denominator was large. Obviously, our population is huge. But that should not be the excuse for us to be so far behind. What do we therefore need to look at are issues like jobs and automation. We need to look at a factor which I call the China factor. We need to be clear that हिंदी चीनी भाई भाई कभी भी नहीं होने वाला है. हम बहुत सोचते हैं हाँ वो आ जाएंगे गलवान में लड़ाई करेंगे, फिर अभी हाथ मिला लिया. हाथ तो मिला लिया पर कितनी उंगलियां बची वो मुझे पता नहीं है. तो अगर हम उनको ट्रस्ट नहीं कर सकते तो हमें अपना स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑटोनॉमी के बेसिस पे अपनी टेक्नोलॉजीज डेवलप करनी है, और जो हमारी सीरियस डिपेंडेंस है चाइना पे उसको रिमूव करना है. उसके साथ हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते. तो इस सब चीज़ों को देख के हमने सोचा कि हम अभी हैं कहाँ, वेयर आर वी टुडे. जॉब वर्क हैज़ बीन आर ब्रेड एंड बटर विच आर सर्विसेज. तो जैसे जियो हैं, एयरटेल हैं, इंडिगो हैं, सन फार्मा हैं, वो सब जॉब वर्क करते हैं बहुत सारे. आप देखिए जब 1991 का when the 1991 reforms happened, three things happened. We created physical infrastructure, we created telecom infrastructure, we created digital infrastructure. But every business that we are in are services business. We are in airlines, we don't make aircraft. We are in textiles, we don't make textile machinery. And so on. If you look at pharma, telecom, renewable energy, diamond cutting machine, diamond cutting industry. We are the world's largest in diamond cutting. Low value added work. सूरत में लाखों लोग काम करते हैं. But we do not make a diamond cutting machine. The value is created in China because they make the diamond cutting machine. Similarly for garments, they make the programmable product by which garments are made. So the value is sitting outside of India. We are working on very low value. So this job work that we are doing, the services that we are doing, is seriously at risk because artificial intelligence is coming in. Digitization is happening in a very big way. And therefore, just on labor cost arbitrage, as a country, we cannot survive. We created the most important industry in the country to help us to be positive on foreign exchange, which is the software industry. We created a $360 billion software industry. But a lot of that is at risk today, because there are a lot of headwinds for that. So where should we go? What should we do? Should we stay with that old Soviet model that we have been following? Should we look at the whenever Bush model? And what is the course correction India needs to do? The old model of innovation in this country did not deliver. All money that the government put in R&D was given to government institutions. When I was talking to ITM last evening, they said, हमको तो कुछ पैसा नहीं मिलता गवर्नमेंट से रिसर्च के लिए. सिर्फ IITs को जाता है, गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को जाता है, प्राइवेट को मिलता ही नहीं है. This is a disaster. This is how America succeeded. They put money into Stanford, they put money into all kinds of institutions. They brought in startups, they brought in companies, and they jointly worked on creating technology and science. So this old model of innovation, since it did not deliver, let us see what have we achieved in the last 5 to 10 years. There are two lighthouses that we created. One is called digital public goods. Everybody in this room knows UPI, correct? Everyone? 15 years ago, when I used to walk into a drawing room conversation in Delhi, since I came from an IT background, सब लोग मुझसे ये पूछते थे, why do we not have a Google or Microsoft in this country? Today we have UPI. Nobody else in the world has something like UPI. America is salivating to get UPI. So here we are, we've created UPI. We also created telecom 4G, 5G stack last year, which is now being adopted by BSNL, and the company that created it was bought over by Tatas, and the government has given them a 13,000 crore order. So suddenly, we are starting to see a very big change happening, and that change is what I call the change towards products. From services, we now need to go towards products. And this is what we call the Vishwamitra way, where deep R&D is essential for the growth of this country. And the government needs to look at public funding of private. Now this is something that because of our old thinking, हम तो पैसे देना ही नहीं चाहते प्राइवेट सेक्टर को, क्योंकि कल कोई पकड़ लेगा हमें, कोई इंक्वायरी हो जाएगी, CAG हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. तो उस चक्कर में हम एक बहुत बड़ी गलती कर रहे हैं कि वी आर ओनली गिविंग मनी टू पब्लिक. दिस इज अ मेजर चैलेंज. हाउ डिड चाइना मेक ग्लोबल behemoths like Huawei? Okay, why? How did they do it? Because they gave them phenomenal amount of funding. They gave them all the government business, and they gave them credit lines which they could go and use to sell to an Airtel or to a telco in America. So this is the kind of support that was given to create global brands. We don't have a single global brand except the software brands, which we want to call them software brands, HCL, TCS, Wipro, Infosys. But they're not product brands. They are service brands. So where do we need to go? We need to create deeper R&D, and that is what we are after. We are clear that private sector is not investing into R&D. Literally all the innovation is happening in startups. They are taking risks. They are creating new products. I have invested in a space tech company that has shot off 4 satellites into space. This is the kind of innovation this country is having. So what we have been proposing to the government, and we've had many discussions with the government on this, including ministers and various IAS officers to the government, we have said, now time has come for you to re-look at your strategy. You need to take public money into private. And there is this economist from the UK, she's actually Italian, Mariana. Mariana has written a book just on this subject. Do you know, even today, Tesla is funded by the US government. Do they need to? No, but they want to make sure that Tesla stays number 1. So this is the kind of support we need. And we also need very, very important thing. We need to remove what we call the wide scale cholesterol that sits in our system, in our regulations. Very difficult regulations. We do not allow innovation to happen. So, and the government must understand that if they give money to private and to startups, failure will happen. Will they accept failure? No, they constantly do not accept failure. Hamara paisa waste ho jayega. So this is the kind of thinking we've had. So we need to move on and go from what we are doing today, services, process innovation. Process innovation, Indigo is famous for. Absolutely amazing process innovation. But we now need to go into combinational innovation and deep innovation. So for this purpose, we have been actually talking to literally everybody in the government. And during the last budget, we managed to get the government to sanction 1 lakh crore of funding to be put into private sector for R&D. That was just the first step. Now to get that money into the hands of private sector is another challenge. For last 6 months, we are working on explaining to the government how this can be done. So this is really where we are, and I believe very critically, we now need to become a product nation. And we've identified some 12 to 14 areas where we should create global companies out of India with products and replace China in many products, because today people don't trust China. They trust India. So there is a fantastic opportunity for startups to create businesses and products. So I would urge all of you who are entrepreneurs out here, move away from services thinking to product thinking. You have a fantastic engineering school here. What I was telling the team yesterday was that let's try teaching people how to make a product. There is not a single engineering school in this country that teaches how to make a product. So we now need to make a complete change. We need to change the curriculum, we need to change what we have been doing, and we need to think big. 20 years from now, our dream is that we should have minimum 5 Indian global companies and products. And I need all of you to support me in this dream. Thank you.